Good morning, Karen Travers.
Good morning. No pressure, right?
No pressure. Try and explain Donald Trump. Well, what is going on? Why are conservatives so upset with him?
Well, remember that chant from the campaign trail, build that wall, build that wall. I mean, that was one of the president's key campaign promises. Well, now the president is talking about this deal, though not using the word, or trying not to use the word, agreement with Democrats that would be a pretty big step for immigration reform. But what's not included in this conversation? The wall, funding for that wall. So here's where things stand. The president wants to allow dreamers, those undocumented immigrants brought here as children, allow them to legally stay in the U.S. Now, this is what DACA did, which the president rescinded this month, but he wants to come up with a legislative solution. Okay, allow the dreamers to stay and beef up border security. He says he wants very heavy security at the border, but that doesn't mean the wall, because right now that funding for it is not part of this. Conservatives are apoplectic, saying he has just given away all negotiating power to the Democrats. He has let down the people that voted for him with that promise of building that big, beautiful wall, as he called it, and also suggesting that he's giving amnesty to these individuals because the Democrats say he agreed to a pathway to citizenship, not just legal status, work permits, but allowing them to apply for citizenship. The president is disputing that.
Here's the interesting part, Karen Travers, and that is the conservative media is critical, right? You've got Mark
Hammering
Levin,
him.
you've got Laura Ingraham, you've got Ann Coulter, but they don't necessarily speak for the base. So they might be criticizing Donald Trump and leaving the base, but right? I mean, there might be a separation between the base and the conservative media.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the question is who is the most upset? Are people really upset, or do they want to see the president getting something done?
Right.
The president says, I was elected to do things. And, he hasn't gotten a lot legislatively accomplished, and that's a frustration for the president. So, I think if he's looking at this as we keep hearing from the White House, he'll work with anybody. He wants to get things done. If that means it's Democrats coming, if it means it's moderate Republicans, conservatives, whatever, everybody can have a seat at the table as long as they're willing to talk.
I think it'd be interesting to watch to see the conservative media might be making the same mistake the more traditional media made during all this time, thinking, okay, this is too much, right? This is a bridge too far, and his base staying with him, right? I mean, here's a man who said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and they'd still be with him.
Yeah, I mean, and that's been this fascinating thing over the campaign and over the last 8 months of if he does this, he's going to just lose everybody. But he hasn't. His core supporters are still there. Now, this was such a core promise from the president that maybe this is the thing that really starts to get people turned off. We'll see. I mean, I think in the next week or two, you start seeing some polling that would come out, people getting out and talking to people we all met during the campaign and revisit these issues. That'll be important. That said, this isn't happening right now, so the fury over it will die down a little bit, but it's certainly going to come back in December when they start considering the DACA fix in relation to government spending.
You think how the world would look if his base stays with him through this, and he feels like he literally can do anything. And then you have a president who's not playing to his base; he's just playing to his supporters, and he can do anything he wants.
And here's the thing. It's if anybody thinks that now the Democrats are on board with everything the president's doing, that's of course not happening. They're not going to push forward his agenda. They want to get something out of this, and they know that this was an issue where they could probably get the president onto their side. I mean, we saw the president in the last couple of weeks when he's talked about DACA and the Dreamers. He didn't make that announcement himself that he was rescinding it. He let Jeff Sessions do that because Sessions, of course, is a huge opponent of it. But the president has always sounded very personally and emotionally conflicted when it comes to what to do about these 800,000 young people, kids, young adults. And now I think he's showing that for him, he wants to make a compassionate decision, but to not try and wrangle Democrats to fund the wall. Conservatives are saying this is a huge missed opportunity.
Karen Travers, have a good weekend. Thanks for checking in.
You too. Thanks.
6:50.